Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Founders Grid, sponsored by Gaper.io. Today we have Ruben. Ruben is the CEO and founder of Career Karma. Ruben, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me on the show.
So, Ruben, what you've been doing before Career Karma? Let's start with that and let's build the conversation towards Career Karma eventually.
Yeah. Um, so we started a podcast in 2016 called Breaking Into Startups that really gave us a deep understanding of what's going on in the labor market and education. Um, it was really important for us not to focus on CEOs or venture capitalists, but mostly spend our time talking to blue collar workers between the ages of 25 and 35 years old from various frontline industries to understand how they navigated a career transition. Um, and so, we've recorded over 100 episodes, we've reached millions of people, and we've leveraged those insights to create Career Karma today. In addition to our work at six different startups before that, and so that's kind of like what led to the breakthroughs and the initial MVP for Career Karma.
God, God. So, what were the early days like at Career Karma, finding the product market fit, understanding things? What was it all about?
So, Career Karma is the easiest way to find a job training program online. I think that's what you asked, right?
Yeah, but getting to the product market fit, identifying the early users, and
Oh, got it, got
yeah,
it. Well,
that growing pains.
yeah, I mean, most of the people came to us through the podcast in the beginning.
Okay,
So we've reached over 3 million people on the podcast before. Um, and we still run it today. And what we would do in the beginning was just host meetups at our house, and just listen to them and understand what they need. And then we would manage their issues and their needs on a spreadsheet. And then we actually created Telegram groups on chat to be able to manage them in small groups. And then we realized that that was working very well. And we prototyped something on actually before the Telegram groups, we prototyped something on a no code app called Bubble, and
uh,
then we used Telegram groups, and then we decided to actually code something up, and we built our MVP by cloning Telegram, and then we built profiles and built everything up off of that. Um, from a growing pains perspective, um, the good thing is like since we'd interviewed all the major customers that would be on the platform, which would be the education providers at the job training programs, we didn't really have to recruit them. They came to us because they had the need of finding enrollments and finding workers for their programs. I'll say the biggest challenge for us was making sure that we can aggregate demand and figure out where people searching for jobs were hanging out in order to get them into our platform and figuring out search. And
mm,
since we were really good at creating content, we really taught ourselves the game in search engine optimization and also in search engine marketing, in addition to leveraging our skills, leveraging offline platforms.
mm.
And so now we have over 1 million people a month coming to Career Karma, and we can match them to different training programs.
Nice, nice, interesting, interesting. So now, coming down to making the conversation much more relevant to COVID, right?
Hmm.
So, being a founder, what challenges you faced initially once the whole team went remote, and especially in regards to mental health. Mental health of the
Hmm.
team is what has been an interesting topic for the last few months, right? So,
Hmm.
and how were you able to cope up with all of this?
Yeah, I think well, the good thing is even before COVID, CareerCom has been a remote team from day one. We have about 50 people that work for us from all over the world. Um, I would say so in that regard, just keeping people's spirit high in the midst of COVID is actually like one of the biggest challenges. Um, Especially because you're not always in person. So you got to be really good at written communication and figure out what's the right balance of written and video because sometimes people have a lot of video fatigue as well. And so I think just also figuring out how to do like fun things and cultural things inside of your community. Like we have like a Slack, a Career Karma playlist Slack channel, so we can like play music to keep people's spirits high, for example, or water cooler talks, so just so you can talk about things that aren't related to work. So figuring out how to like make people feel human is super important. Making sure that people's families are also considered is super important, on an internal basis, and then on an external basis, um, I would say understanding what the major trends are that COVID has accelerated. And for us, those two major changes are the unbundling of higher education and the increased demand for skills training.
Hmm.
So since and what that means is that, boot camps are the first rapid reskilling model at scale that have set the example that all the traditional education players are now following. So you have um, trade schools launching their own income share agreements, for example, like welding schools and diesel training centers. You have colleges launching their own boot camps. You have employers launching their own credentials. And so everybody's recognizing that, with millions of people that are unemployed and 54% of the workforce requiring reskilling by 2022, we have to figure out how to combine the Department of Education, the Department of Labor in a scalable way so people can get jobs quickly. And so Career Comm is that software layer that bridges both of those worlds.
Got got it. Makes sense. Makes sense. So, in regards to uh, post-COVID world, once the vaccine is out and everything, how do you see remote work environment changing, or do you think it's here to stay?
I think the remote work environment is here to stay. I don't think it's going to be 100% remote. I think people are realizing that, very similar to colleges, that it's not always necessary to pay so much money for an office or for, free washing machines and like 3 meals a day on campus. Like a lot of times, if you take all the money that you're spending on your office and your college campus and you just give it to your workers, like if you gave them all $10,000 to outfit their home office, a lot of people would appreciate that even more. And so what I think is going to happen is you're definitely going to have more companies that are going to be 100% remote, but you're
Mm,
going to have some companies that are going to be either still offline or a hybrid of both. I
mm,
think you're going to see the same thing happening with college as well. I think distance learning, online education is here to stay, largely driven by 2U, which is the largest online program manager.
mm,
And you're going to have some schools that are going to be offline still for the most part, and you're going to have some that are going to be a hybrid of both. And so I think the challenge for remote work and online education is not just being really good at written communication or
mm,
teaching or managing people
mm,
remotely. It's going to be um, building the community that you need in order to help people
mm,
either complete a program or survive in a work environment. And when I mean community, community doesn't just exist for education. Community is important for a remote work environment too. A lot of people like to talk about culture, but whatever dynamics that you're building internally matter, because um, politics can, as you grow, politics can erupt. You want to build friendships. You want to build relationships that people can take with them, whether they stay with you forever or go on and start their own thing in the future.
got it. Got it. Makes sense. Makes sense. True. And where do you see, last question, where do you see Career Karma 3 years from now?
Yeah, 3 years from now, I see us actually working with trade schools, colleges, and universities. We started with boot camps, but we definitely plan on helping trade schools and colleges and universities with their enrollments. Um, the other thing that you're going to see is um, right now we have 6 different career paths people can choose from that are technical and non-technical, and right now they're largely focused on the technology industry. But in the next few years, you're actually going to see us move into healthcare, transportation, and other things, so people can get any type of job that they want to. And we're going to build the product that allows us to manage the relationship with them from end to end, from enrollment all the way into a job.
Got it. Ruben, all the best with everything. Take care of yourself, stay safe, and good luck with Career Karma.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
Never get on the show.